One of the 100 best British novels listed by the Time magazine was Graham Greene's famous novel, The Power and the Glory. Let us see that novel story today. And for all of you who want to read good books, here is a book which all of you will enjoy reading. Graham Greene wrote this book at a time when socialism was the most important political doctrine in Mexico. The entire story is based in the state of Tabasco in Mexico. And surprisingly, the two characters who are the main characters in the story are not known by their names. They are only known by some description which the author gives. So the main story revolves around a Catholic priest, because socialism was trying to remove the Catholic Church completely. The power of the Catholic Church, they felt, was very evil. So they wanted to do away with it. And this was by either sending all the priests away, or killing the priests, or giving them a pension so that they would get married and live a civil life. You must know that Catholic priests are celibate. They are not allowed to get married. So asking them to get married is like you are leaving your priesthood. So this Catholic priest, Greene calls as whiskey priest. Whiskey priest because he keeps getting drunk. And when he has a lot of power, he is very greedy. He takes money even to bury a small child. You know, the parents have lost a small child and they are begging him to do the service of burial. You have to give prayers, etc., for the soul which has gone away. But he refuses. He says, I want payment. He is always drunk, and he also has an illegitimate daughter. As I told you, they are celibate. They are not supposed to have children. But here he has a daughter. So Greene puts all the bad qualities in the protagonist. But the story shows you how this person, from a sinner, from a terrible priest, develops into a saint. He becomes really saintly. But he's not, to start with, he's not a saint. He's not like those great stories of saints which one mother is reading to her children. The daughters listen very carefully. You know, that is parallel plot in the novel. On one side there is the whiskey priest. He's terrible. And he's a coward also, in addition to all this. Because as soon as the police are looking for him, he keeps running. The other character, the opposite character, we can't call him an antagonist because he's also a very important person and a good person, is the lieutenant. The lieutenant is the police officer who's looking for all priests so that the priests can be removed from this place completely. Now, this other parallel story is the story of a mother who hides books about Catholic saints and reads it to her children. The daughters listen with great interest, but the son does not believe. Son says, what is this priest and all? What is this saint and all? I don't believe in all this. I don't believe all this religion. Because all around there is socialism. And socialism does not subscribe to any of these things. Then there is the lieutenant who lives like a priest. He lives in a small room. He does not have any of the addictions which the priest has. The Catholic priest is supposed to be good. The lieutenant can have anything, you know. All the evil can be there in this officer. But he's not like that. He's like a real, Catholic monk. He's like a renunciate. He doesn't have any family, any greed, anything. He has only one ambition, and that is to free Tabasco of all priests. So in addition to this mother's story, there is another parallel story where a priest is forced to marry the housekeeper. He's a coward, so he says, okay, I will take your pension and I will marry my housekeeper and live happily. And now the housekeeper has become so bossy that he has no life of his own. He keeps depending on her. She orders and he has to do whatever she orders. This also we are shown. In this way, parallel stories are told to us. Now there is one person who is the mestizo. He's a person of a lower category, who is considered like the figure of Judas in the story of Jesus Christ. Of all the disciples of Christ, it is Judas who betrayed him. So this priest, the whiskey priest, whom Graham Greene is going to prove to be a Christ-like figure, although he has so many bad qualities, but he's going to be redeemed. He's going to become a saint. And the person who betrays him, the way he gets caught is because of this mestizo. So when the novel opens, you find that he has gone to a dentist. And this person is hiding. This person is hiding and saying, as soon as he comes out, he can be caught. I can tell the police that he is there. Now somehow the priest escapes. We find that he keeps running. The entire novel is like one of those detective novels, where the culprit is running and the police are chasing behind. So it's a very interesting novel that way. But it's also a very powerful religious novel. It has a spiritual meaning also. Both these are combined. The style and the story is just like one of those, detective novels. But this is not detective, it's something much more. Now the priest goes to the village where his church was. The policeman thinks, okay, he must be hiding here. So he goes there. Nobody can make out because the priest doesn't have his beautiful clothes anymore. He's wearing rags and he has long beard and, he's totally like a beggar. So he stands in the queue. The policeman says, all of you stand in the queue. And unless you give up the person, every day I'm going to kill one person. And he shoots one person. The priest sees that for his sake, so many people are sacrificing themselves. Suddenly, his conscience tells him this is wrong. He says, okay, let me leave Tabasco. I will come back when I'm needed. Whenever I'm needed, I will come. And he says a mass, prayers, and then he leaves. He runs away. He escapes to the border. And there he is, once you cross the border, the policeman has no power to catch him. Where he is relaxing, this betrayer comes and says, there is one person who is dying. And in Catholic religion, before dying, you have to do confession. That last communion which is done is very important for the soul. That is what Catholics believe. So you have to come. Now the priest has brought out all his good qualities. When he was a real priest, he had the power. He was not a good person. But today when he has lost his power, throughout the novel, Greene shows how such a selfish person has become totally unselfish. The concept of love, which is so important in Catholicism, is what he practices. He feels great love for everybody. And then he crosses the border again and comes to help that person who needs the help of a priest in the dying hours. But this was a lie, it was not the truth. Therefore, we find that what he does is he willingly comes and sacrifices himself. You know, it's like Jesus' sacrifice on the cross. That is what Greene is saying. Since Graham Greene, the author, said many of these things, the Catholic Church was very angry with him. And they said that we don't want this novel to be published. But it won many awards also. So you have to understand that it is only literature. It is teaching many lessons, but it's a very interesting story. The lieutenant catches him and he is shot down. So before shooting him down, the lieutenant asks him for his final wish. In this way, the lieutenant shows that he is such a kind-hearted person, although he is doing what socialist state demands of him. And he feels totally helpless and meaningless at the end of the novel, where he kills the priest. But then we also have the story of resurrection. As the priest is shot, the handkerchief is dipped in his blood and that becomes a relic. A young priest walks into Tabasco and takes refuge in the house of this mother who was reading stories of saints to the children. It is the son who opens the door, and the son also gets converted and a new priest comes. It's almost as though the whiskey priest in his death has got back a new life. Again, no names are given. Therefore, it's a wonderful story, and it's one of the best, as I told you, one of the 100 famous novels which we read. Graham Greene's The Power and the Glory, which is the part of the Lord's Prayer. Every day prayer is given, Our Father in Heaven. So there the last part is the power and the glory. In this way, very important, powerful novel. You can read it and enjoy. I hope you have liked the video. Please subscribe if you haven't done it. Press the bell icon so that you get notifications. Like and hype the video and share it as widely as you can. Join the channel as a member to attend all the live classes I conduct and also to get other benefits. Thank you and all the best.